Welcome, everyone. Let's get a few people in here. Come on in. Let's chat. Let's have a talk. I want to know if you guys are stressed. Good morning, Kathy. Good morning. So, come on in, everyone. Just looking at a little bit of astrology and things like that. But what kind of popped in my mind? What's popping in my mind today? A few things. I was watching um, the Tim podcast yesterday, and it had Michaela Peterson on, Jordan Peterson's daughter. Love her, love her. She's got a lot of insight. She's gone through a lot, man. I mean, health problems and being diagnosed as a young girl with arthritis and autoimmune disorders and all like just a gamut of stuff that she was diagnosed with. And how she is now. She's even, I think she's had, I don't know if it was a hip or a knee replacement and stuff like that, but how she changed her through her diet. And her diet is not what you would think. It's beef and lamb and salt and water. And no caffeine, no nothing, no sugar. I think she can take some honey now, but it might sound boring as a diet, but as she puts it, it's like to feel healthy every day is a beautiful thing. And I, you know what? How true is that? To feel healthy every day is a beautiful thing. And for her, she's been doing this diet since 2017. So she's been doing it for over 6 years, 7 years now. And the results in her diet are fabulous. I mean, any vitamin deficiencies, her autoimmune disorder is no longer, arthritis and inflammation in her joints is gone. So there's a lot of benefits that came through her diet. And she doesn't have backing from doctors or anything with the diet because they probably think that she's just looped. But that's the thing. A lot of times when we go to a doctor or we go to a specialist, we hand it over. We hand it over. It's so much easier to hand things over to somebody else and say, you take care of it. I don't have to worry about this anymore. You want me to do this? Okay, that's fine. And just relinquish your power, relinquish what because they're the doctors. They know better. They know, right? Right? So they must know. And then you come in with something different that they have not studied or discussed, or it's not in any of their journals. Well, it has to be batshit crazy and wrong. And here she's been doing this for over 7 years and is healthy and is feeling good. And, everything, I mean, with, what's gone, with Jordan Peterson and stuff. I mean, he had to leave Canada to get treatment for an anxiety medication that he was on, but he was on pretty high doses. But to get him off, they had to do an induced coma for him to come off of the medications. And they had to go to Siberia to do that for him to get healthy. And now he's back and he has his moments. I mean, but learning to live with his new life, learning to live with something new. And I think that's where I feel a lot of this energy is coming, what we are having to do, not only as a society, but as individuals. Deciding for our own selves what is beneficial, deciding for our own selves what is good for us. And, people might think you're batshit crazy for wanting to do, a beef and lamb diet. And, they're worried about her vitamin C and they're worried about all of this. But she has no deficiencies. Like, when it comes to her vitamins and that, they're good. Her immune system is good. And that's where you sometimes have to like, okay, you know what? I gotta trust my gut on this. And we're coming into, this is sort of a segue where I'm going, to back to school. And I'm thinking of as women, and mainly because, for women, we are the ones who are, figuring it all out. I'm not saying men don't, but I'm just feeling like for a lot of women, we've had to try and figure it all out. And today, more so than ever. And there's so much coming down upon women, not only from identification, now we have to re-identify ourselves or some kind of fucking bullshit, to, for our children. It's like our worries, for some, it's like this, some are freaking out about the new variant that's coming in, and then, what do we need for our kids? What's going to happen for our kids? All of this is already weighted upon you. And then you are having to think about, whatever programs you put your kid in. Now, I was very lucky in many ways in raising my children. And I thank God for my mom and dad. I really do, because they did a hell of a lot for me in helping to raise my kids. They were there for me. And it was such a benefit for me. And I even had my girlfriend, Mary, live with me for a while. And if I didn't have that help in raising my kids, I would have gone just ape shit, because it does take a community to raise children, right? I think men focus on what's important to get by. Yes, exactly. Yeah, Jen, you're right. And many times, when it comes to for women, is they it's like today they feel they have to do it all. They have to do it all. Like when my kids were in hockey or in dance, I would, there were times where mom or somebody, I would say, can you take Dom or can you take Eddie to hockey? I got to take Olivia to dance. So many, we would work with one another. I mean, it was great because, you had women to rely on or somebody else to rely on to help you to either take your child to their sport or to do the pickup or what have you. And that's the thing, is that when you in ancient times, when in a community, you would have where this group would be looking after the children, this group would be doing the laundry, this group would be doing the kitchen. When I ran a Starbucks downtown, there was a couple Hutterite girls that came in and worked with me, and they talked about the rotation within the Hutterite farm and how one day, this is like they were on weekly kitchen duty and they had to be at the kitchen at such and such a time to do whatever was needed in the kitchen, because it was community kitchen. Somebody was making soap for the whole community. Like you would have, today we're doing this week is the week that we're going to be doing soap. Making their own bars of soap and their detergent and everything else. And then you would have, okay, you will be looking after the children. So this group of people would be looking after the children. So this is how I feel like, it's wonderful when you can have that, but many don't. And, it does take a village. It does take a community to raise your children. And I'm very blessed that my daughter does live with me, and I do have my grandson here, and she doesn't have to worry about daycare or put Mateus into daycare and things like that. And that we're here to help out and pick him up, drop him off, when needed and things along that line. And it's helpful. I'm so happy I'm able to do that for her, because it is one of those things about building a village. Now, many times in doing that, sometimes it feels like there's some sacrifice that has to be made. Like, I know when we did move to Calgary, it was hard. And I think once we moved into our home, we didn't want to move. Like, once we were in there, because we wanted to have something that was established and stable for the kids. And that was one of the big reasons, where they all went to the same school, they all went to the same junior high, they all went to the same high school. So that there was a stability there. There was something, that a knowingness that was there. And I think sometimes that sacrifice is important, where you get to know your neighbors, you get to know the neighborhood, the people, the person at the local 7-Eleven, and things like that. Yes, definitely. Roots, putting down those roots is important, and having some form of community. Now, a lot of women don't have that. They don't have that. Either they're a single mom, they're doing it all. And my thought came today when I was thinking of, because back to school, and having to go back to school, and all those freaking back to school lists. I mean, it would send me into panic. It really would. I would get huge anxiety when it came to having to shop for back to school. One, financially, it was just the thought of making sure I had enough money for them all, that they had their books and they had their pens and everything else. Now, many times when kids are going back, depending on the grade, they get very specific on what the kids need. And I remember one time, and I was just freaking out because I think it was Edward needed a special pen. Like, she had 3 or 4 different pens for him in this grade. I think it was grade 4. It might have been grade 4, because he was learning how to write. And I was just freaking out, like totally freaking out. We lived in Penticton. So I had one Staples, one Walmart. If it was sold out, I'm going to drive all the way to Kelowna, which is over an hour away, for a pen, with 4 kids in the car. And driving an hour away from Penticton to Kelowna is not like driving to the other end of the city. It's highway driving, right? It's not just like, oh, let's just hop in the car and we go to the other side of the town. No, it's highway driving, which is different. And I remember my sister Judy was in town, and she goes, what? Like, she's like, first of all, she couldn't believe the list that my kids had. And she goes, you know what, Mary? And I'm going to cry when I hear this. She said, you got to be a ping pong. And I'm just like, what the hell? What do you mean I got to be a ping pong? She goes, you got to be a ping pong on the wave and just ride it. Because there's going to be some things you can do and some things you can't do. And this is something you can't do. And if the teacher is going to freak out or whatever, they got to know that not every parent is going to find the right pen. Not every parent is going to be able to maybe afford all of this. And she said, just be that ping pong and just ride the wave. Just bob. She goes, because as a mom, many times that's all you can do. Just do the best you can do for today. And that's really how we need to get through everything right now, is do what you can today. Once Eddie got into school, and he was in school, and I was telling her, and I said, I didn't get the pen. And she goes, oh, that's okay. I'm like, oh God, how many parents? A bunch of us watched together in the parking lot afterwards. And I said to my one girlfriend, Margaret, I said, I had to look for this stupid pen. She started to laugh, and she goes, there was a few other parents that said, yeah, we couldn't find it, because she wanted them to have a fine point pen or something crazy. And I jokingly said to him, I said, my sister said, I need to be a ping pong on the waves of the ocean and just go with it. Because some days I'll be drifted way out to sea, and other days I'll be right up upon shore. And you have to just allow to go with that flow. You have to be able to go with it and not freak out about it, because it's not worth it. It's not worth it. And so many of us freak out about, oh my God, we don't have this, or what about this, or what about that? And it's not, it's, in the end of the day, it's not worth it. When you don't have that specific village, or maybe you don't have your mom and dad to help you out, or a neighbor, or an aunt, or what have you, you don't have that. Sometimes you just have to do what you got to do for the day. you know it's where, I mean, are you going to stress yourself out to a point that you're going to make yourself freaking out, and then you're freaking out at the kids, you're freaking out at everything else, and it's not worth it. It really isn't. And so much in our day today, we are freaking out over stupid shit, freaking out, about so much, instead of looking at, okay, what can I do today? And even in my yoga today, and it was hard. I'm sorry. It was like we were doing just the different routines, and in the yoga we hold the position for so long. Then we hold the position for like 20 seconds. You get a 10-second briefing, and then you go on to the next pose, and then you do that one, and then you rest, and then you go back to the other pose. So it's sort of like a circuit. And in doing that circuit, but she kept on saying, do what is best for you today. Do what is best for how you can do it today. Don't stress yourself out of trying to hold, like, say, a pose that it just, like, if when your body's done and it's just done, for doing something. And that's really where it's at. I mean, even with Mercury going into of Virgo, it's about figuring out the details. And sometimes you may not have all the details, or it may not all be there. And that is okay. That's fine. Don't be freaking out over things that you just can't. And that's so important right now, because there is so much coming at us, more so than ever before in our life, that we just need to just do what we can and build what we can, and take each piece as you can. I've been watching a lot of chateau shows. There's a lot of them now, chateau DIYs, and even there was another one I was just watching, and he started redoing his family's farm in upstate New York, back in, I think it was 1997 or something. Him and his wife took it over. And he said all we could do is just bit by bit. And when he came to doing the wall, because most of it he was doing himself, the outside walling, he goes, I just did a wall a day. I just did a side a day. And eventually got all the way around. But he said that's all I could do. And instead of trying to just get it all done at once, or force yourself to do something that I need to do this all at once. And today and this week and going into the fall, I know we're only August 11th, but going into the rest of August and into September and October, you just got to do what you can do. Don't try and push things further than what you can do. And, right now it's about figuring out the details. It's about looking at those details. And sometimes you'll be 2 steps ahead. You got it. Let's go. We're going with this. Sometimes you're going to be like, you know what? I'm just not there today. And it's okay. It's okay. And especially for the moms out there, you guys have a lot on your plate right now. But sending kids back to school, what's happening in a crazy, unpredictable world that's happening right now. And it's about doing the best you can and being the ping pong. Some days are going to be great and you're going to just float on those waves, and other days you're not. And that's okay. And honoring the okay. honoring that I can only do this today. And that's the thing, is like, you could stress yourself out and run around. I could have run around and tried to find those stupid pens. And the thing is that what would that mean? That I'd throw 4 kids into the car, drive all the way to Kelowna, and what if they, find, pick up a pen, just think about it, a pen, and then come all the way back to Penticton. And going there is not just driving there. It was also making sure I had the gas, and making sure that, okay, oh my God, I'd have to make sure the kids had something to eat and whatever. So at the end of the day, all you can do is what you can do. And just stepping up and living up to your full potential for that day. And that's it. And a lot of times people might think, oh, well, you could have done more. You should have done this, and you shouldn't. Well, shoulda, coulda, woulda. But this is where I am right now. And this is what I can do right now. And honoring that is the most important thing you can do for yourself. We're in a year of rebuilding. We're in a year of crazy, more turmoil. And I'm going to, honestly, yeah, there's more turmoil. There's more craziness. But all we can do is just take each day as it comes and allow it to unfold. And if it's a little bit too much, or you need an extra break, then you take the extra break. And just allow yourself just to breathe and breathe through it. So I have a course that's coming up. The Journey Club is coming up on September 13th. And on September 16th, I have the chakra class. Journey Club is 8 weeks, and it's learning the big F, which is forgiveness. It is learning how to forgive yourself and look at your belief system, and rewriting part of it if it needs to be rewritten. Maybe you're fine, maybe you're not, but looking at parts of your life and going deeper into it. So we have the Journey Club that's coming in. I've been teaching that for over 11 years. So, and it's once a year. It's in September. And then we have the chakra class coming up. So the chakra class is 7 weeks. Each week is a new chakra. I could teach this in a weekend possibly, but I'm feeling I'd rather go through a chakra a week so that we can really get into how to cleanse and clear our chakras, utilize the oils, and even during that week, being able to work with that chakra and then go into the next chakra and work with that chakra. And maybe there's certain oils, or learning a meditation of that chakra, and then moving up to, and then finally up to the crown, so that you have a system in place on how to open and close your chakras, how to cleanse and clear your chakras, what felt good when you were doing that, what didn't feel good, what was in alignment, what was out of alignment. Because it's amazing how your chakras can easily get out of alignment just by, maybe how you're feeling, maybe how things are going. And when you are more in tuned with the body, then you can feel like, oh, wow, okay, I got, my solar plexus is feeling kind of funky today, so I got to really work on this, or I got to work on that. So the chakra class is on September 16th. So, and of course, I'm always here. If you want a reading, you can book in for a reading or some spiritual coaching sessions. So sending you out so much love. Be the ping pong. Just allow yourself to float upon the waves, and don't get yourself stressed out. It's a beautiful day to figure things out today. Moon is void, of course, till 4 o'clock, when it will go into Libra, and that'll help you to bring in some balancing. So have a blessed one, everybody, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.